Hi Tamers! Today I've got some gold tournament gameplay for you guys. I'm running the same team as in my Zaobian PvP video, but since then I've added a nature chromion in place of 2-wire, and I've updated my TV spreads and moves. So check the description for the full details of my team. With that being said, there are lots of strong Tamers and crazy games ahead of us, so let's jump right into it. For game 1 they get first ban. Let's see who they pick. No! I respect ban Zenereth because I don't have a ton of experience against them, and crystal types are rough for my team. Speaking of which, they lead Gialis. I open Nagaise and Chromion, and they answer with 2-rock. Next I trade a Wolfie ban for my Tolkien ban, and the rest of the draft looks like this. Now the Chromion Deceit Aura Nagaise lead is pretty good, because even though I run a fast Chromion, non-synergy harmful microwaves is low priority. But there is a bit of anti-synergy with my Chromion whipping my Nagaise. Things are a little weird, but it should be okay. I start with a microwave onto Gialis, because I want to try and get rid of him before he crystal bites Nagaise on turn 2. Noxious Bomb procs my Vial, I Madness buff, and I get double gashed. Now I wish I was running a little bit more stamina on Chromion so I could microwave the Gialis again without OXing, but I'm not really built to pair with Nagaise, so instead I double into the 2-rock spot. He double swaps out 2-rock for Kinu and Gialis for Ukama. Kinu tanks both hits, but not well, and he's trapped for a turn. Now I've sort of played myself into a potential Stonewall next turn from Kinu, but there isn't much I can do about it. I'm expecting Nagaise to die this turn, either the Blizzard or just OXing itself. So I press Nagaise Fury to hopefully finish Kinu and do a bit to Ukama. Then I swap Chromion out to Gazuma to prep for a fast charge buff. Ukama does Blizzard, but they go for the Chromion side, so Berry B eats it up. Naga's Fury knocks out Kinu, and I lose Naga in the process, but he's already gotten a lot of value this game. I bring in Koish, who gets speed boosted, and they bring in Volorend. My Gazuma is in a good spot to just Electric Storm here, so I do. And my Koish doesn't really have any good moves on turn 1, but a Digital Stream Poke is better than nothing. AWW comes out, doing a decent chunk to Redditor, and Electric Storm goes absolutely crazy on their team, knocking out Ukama. This is a max special attack Gazuma, and he's doing what he does best. A Noxious Bomb comes down, bringing Koish lower, but my fish is particularly bulky, so we're okay. Gialis comes back in, but my Gazuma won't die to a single sharp stabs, so we can press Tornado before we potentially die. With Hand Fan, we should be able to take Volorend with us if we die here. And then I Hypnosis that side with Koish as well, to cover a 2-rock swap or sleep the other side if Vola stays in and dies. Gialis swaps to 2-rock, Volorend falls, and 2-rock goes to sleep. Gialis comes back in. We tried a Digital Stream to finish off Gialis, but I guess +2 Koish doesn't outspeed their +1 Gialis, and we waste a turn sparksing its dead body. Not my proudest moment, but it should be okay. So my Chromion comes back in with a good amount of stamina, and my Gazuma gets whipped to hopefully outspeed and finish off Gialis. The Tornado goes first, but Gialis eats it up with a +1 special defense it got from Kinu earlier, and the Crystal Bite claps me back. Chromion and 2-rock trade with each other. But now I can bring in Rhinet and press Electropunch with synergy. The only problem is I'm pretty sure a Sharp Stabs kills my Chromion, and I need Chromion alive to finish off 2-rock, so I'm hoping a Hologram will outspeed the stabs. I hologram, Hook Kick comes out, outspeeding my Electropunch, so thankfully I hologrammed. Gialis OXs and Electropunch cleans him up. Then Stoneball hurts a ton, but we live. And finally I just Electropunch and Resin Trap to close out the game. Good game, well played. On to game 2. I get first ban, so I get rid of Gialis. They ban Mudrid. I lock in Zaobian, and they grab Mouflink and Mix. So I second pick Chromion. I've been loving the Chromion Zaobian lead a bit better than Zaobian Gazuma lately. It's super high damage on turn 1, and with the release of Whip, it's almost as good as Gazuma. Anyway, they ban my Tolkien and I ban Wolfie. The rest of the draft looks like this. Let me just start by saying Hurry Warp Mouflink leads are terrifying. The potential priority damage from Goring turn 1 is ridiculous, and if you want to swap, there's a chance they cage you in. And there's really no telling what kind of spread this mix is until I hit it. Tanky? Glass Cannon? Either way, I kind of have to Nature Torrent to prevent knocking it into Puppet Master range, or else he really will be Can't Hit Me for the rest of the game. And I heat up on Zaobian, to potentially resist a Crystal Spikes. I happen to outspeed both his Tems on turn 1 with the Whip bonus, and that really makes this a lot easier. Energy Manipulation and Goring really hurt, but I live. And now I know I outspeed any 3 prio move with a 2 prio move. Nature Torrent knocks Mix down to 68, which very well might be in range of a harmful microwaves. I hope. All that's left to do is TK Shrapnel and microwave the green circles. Mix falls, but this Mouflank is built bulky, living with 4%. Having a mental move is great on Zaobian, but it's a bummer its base damage is so weak. Then we get KO'd by base jump. I bring in Gazuma, and they bring in Noxolotl. I really wish I brought in Koish here because I just end up switching Gazuma out to get microwave synergy to finish off Mouflank, then Noxo gets a free madness buff. Definitely a weird play by me, but my Koish doesn't do much on turn 1 anyway, so it's not the end of the world. Tolkien comes in, and since I'm Iridescence, they threaten both of my Tems, but not enough to OHKO either of them, and I think Chromion might be able to outtrade it with 2 microwaves. Microwaves comes out doing 36% while burned, Koish gets blasted by Fiery Soul, and Hypnosis sleeps Noxo before it starts running through my team. The next turn, Noxo swaps to Akama. Now I probably should have taken a second to calc and see if Microwaves kills Tolkien, but I just figured it would with the burn removed. It doesn't! I OX and then Fiery Soul claps Koish. So I bring in Rhinet. I'm in a bit of a weird spot here, but I think we can make it work. I Electropunch the Tolkien because there's a chance I outspeed it, where I probably won't outspeed Ukama. Ukama goes first, whirlwinding my Chromion who needs to rest this turn. He drops really low, but survives, which feels okay, man. Electropunch takes out Tolkien, and Noxolotl comes back in. I want to conserve Chromion to try and get a speed boost to kill Ukama with Resin Trap later, so I switch to Gazuma. Water Cannon takes a chunk out of Rhinet, and I Hypnosis Noxolotl again. He's still +2 special attack, and I don't want to deal with those bad vibes right now. Now I can Sparks my Gazuma, and throw a slow Electropunch into Ukama. If Rhinet dies, it's fine. If he goes for Gazuma, Ukama is gonna get chunked. Ukama OXs for the Aquatic Whirlwind, and Electropunch procs its Reactive Vial. Noxo wakes up, and I can't do any sleep reset shenanigans this turn, so it's time to finally deal with him. I throw a Tornado at Noxo, dropping it low, but activating Trance. And then Charged Iron Filings brings it even lower, and knocking out Ukama in the process. The Burn and Nullify also removes its regen, which is nice, and then Noxolotl barfs all over my team. Pretty gross, but it dies to burn afterward, and I've still got Chromion in the back so we clutch it out. That was a close game. GG WP. For game 3, we get first ban again. I ban Scaravolt, because even though I have Mudrid to counter him, my Mudrid gets destroyed by 1, 2, 3 of their Tems. They ban Naga, I lead Zaobian, they lead Kinu Yaller, and I grab Chromion. They ban Rhinet, and I ban Ukama. The rest of the draft looks like this. The dreaded Kinu Yaller opener. The Scourge of Kisiwa. The Kings of Copy Pasta. Each nerfed more times than any other Tem. How do I deal with it? Well, let me show you. Nah, I'm just kidding. What I do is Harmful Microwave and Heat Up, which is coincidentally what I do to most openers. Beta Burst hits Zaobian, and Yaller shows off. Turn 2, however, I TK Shrapnel and Resin Trap. Shrapnel does a good chunk of damage, and then Sacrifice comes out. I'm glad Shrapnel outsped Sacrifice, but the bulk does prevent Yaller from dying to Resin Trap. However, the goal was not to kill Yaller. No, that would be impossible. The goal is to survive. With the mental typing, Zaobian lives. Both Zaobian and Yaller are low, but Yaller is trapped in. They bring in Wolfie, and I totally don't misplay this turn. I Electropunch to finish off Yaller. Zaobian OXs because of the exhaustion from Suplex, and dies. Then Wolfie plagues my Chromion, who doesn't have synergy anymore, and OXs itself with microwaves.
Oh brother, this guy stinks!
Anyway, I send in Tolkien and they bring in Nidrasil. This turn, they switch Wolfie out for Tolkien, who's running Mom's Lunch. Good thing I pressed Wind Burst, saves a little stamina. Nidrasil inks my Chromion, who actually survives after the tick. That's really good value. I double into the left side with Tornado and Resin Trap to cover the swap or trap something in. Nidrasil does indeed swap to Wolfie, and it gets KO'd by the double in. Chromion gets knocked out, and Tolkien takes the Wind Burst that was meant for him. And after that, they concede. Good game, well played. On to the semifinals, against a Size Munch comp. They first ban my Nagaise. I ban 2-Wire. I really just don't like playing against 2-Wire. Since I'm playing an aggro comp, I feel like I just lose if I can't do enough super effective damage. They pick Munch, I grab Zaobian and Chromion, and they lock in Mashuk. I ban Kinu because I don't want to surprise Protector or Whip on anything. And they ban Gazuma. The rest of the draft looks like this. Even though I get a whip buff on Zaobian, I still can't outspeed Size Munch Wreck with Telekinetic Shrapnel, but I have a different strategy in mind for Size Munch. I just microwave it. I guess that's kind of my strategy for anything lately. Well, anyway, wow, look, that's a lot of damage. And then I heat up. Chromion gets slapped by Mashuk, that's a tireless Mashuk confirmed, and then Monkey heats up. But wait a minute, you just get Seismich next turn, right? I thought you had a strategy. Shh, that's true. I can't outspeed Wreck with Telekinetic Shrapnel, but most Seismunches these days are running Reactive Vial, so after chunking them with microwaves, I can finish them off with an Electropunch, which will outspeed, and since they don't resist it anymore, will definitely kill at +2. Well, that's pretty smart. But wait, if they weren't running Reactive Vial, wouldn't you just lose? Anyway, next turn I Electropunch to knock out Seismunch, and Microwaves does a huge chunk to Mashuk. The Mashuk then claps back with Wastewater, and at -1 defense, Chromion is deleted. Mashuk gets a Tireless proc. I bring in Koish, and they bring in Mimit, which copies Koish. Kind of a bummer, because it copies my Iridescence, so I can't kill it with Electropunch. But we just have to roll with it. I double into the Mashuk spot with TK Shrapnel, because it's my only move that doesn't cause me to OX. And Water Cannon, in case there's a swap. Mashuk does swap to Lewaddle, who drops low. The enemy Mimit Water Cannons my Zaobian for a decent amount, and then my Water Cannon secures the Lewaddle kill. Then Koish comes in. We still potentially have one more turn to attack with Zaobian, so we just double into the left side again. Fire Koish falls, the enemy Digital Stream gets redirected to Koish, feels good man, and my Hypnosis puts Mimit to sleep. And they concede. Good game, well played. Hey, we made it to the Grand Finals! I wonder what comp Eris has. It's a really cool Venom spread comp, with a splash of Luma Zaobian. I'm blue side, so I ban 2-wire. They ban Gazuma, I lead Zaobian, and they bring Chromion and Gazuma. I bring my Chromion. They ban Rhinet, and I ban Zaobian. Not just because he's super dripped out and I feel inferior, but because I want to deny microwave synergy from this fast-charged Chromion. The rest of the draft looks like this. Since they can't blow me out with fast microwaves, I have a bit of a lead advantage, so I just double into the right side with Electropunch and my own microwave. They swap their Acronox in to tank the hit, but wow, that's some serious damage. Tesla Prison hits my Zaobian, bringing him back down to normal speed. Next turn, they swap Gazuma out to Platamus, and I just rinse and repeat to knock out Acronox. Then Chromion comes back in, buffing Platamus with a whip. Now I'm predicting an Aquatic Whirlwind onto my Zaobian, so I switch to Naga and Resin Trap. Naga comes in, tanks the Aquatic Whirlwind, nice, then Resin Trap chunks Platamus, but more importantly traps it in. And lastly, a harmful microwave comes out. Nagaise barely lives it, which is great for us. Both my Tems are pretty much guaranteed to underspeed their Tems after those speed bonuses, so I'm free to do pretty much whatever I want this turn. So I double into the Platamus spot again. Psysurge does decent damage, the enemy microwaves finishes off Naga, and Platamus falls to my Nature Torrent. Next I bring in Tolkien, and they bring in Toxic Koish. I swap Chromion out to my Koish, and their Koish Water Cannons my Tolkien. The burn helps me live that, thank goodness, and Windburst almost kills Toxic Koish. Chromion microwaves again to finish off Tolkien, but Redirection device says no! The Toxic Koish dies to burn at the end of the turn. Gazuma comes back in, and we trade Tornadoes, finishing off Chromion. And then I put Gazuma to sleep, and it's pretty much GG from there. So we take game 1 pretty handily, but the tournament grand finals is a best of 3, so let's see if we can bring the same energy next game. Our starting bans are the same, but this time they're blue side, so they lead Acronox. I bring Tolkien and Rhinet, and they bring Chromion. Look, a non-Zaobian lead. I ban the dripped out Zaobian, and they ban my Chromion. Sag. The rest of the draft looks like this. So turn 1 is a little scary. With the whip boost, Acronox most likely outspeeds Rhinet's Electropunch, and will probably sting to set up a Sinnoh type or Venom spread onto my Tolkien before it can do anything. So I switch to Zaobian to tank the hit, and press Electropunch with Rhinet on the Chromion slot. Then we see a speed arrow indicator in favor of our opponent. This gives us a lot of info. Rhinet gets stung, and then I Electropunch. This means my Rhinet and their Acronox are the same speed. The Venom spread comes out onto Rhinet, and oof, that's a lot of damage. Venom spread comps are really scary, but at least the burn damage reduction let us keep our Rhinet for another turn. It was also really smart to double into Rhinet, predicting my Tolkien to switch out in fear. Now since we saw the speed arrow, I know Rhinet is going to go first this turn with Electropunch, so I punch Chromion. We get Venom spreaded by Acronox, and my boy Zaobian is free to heat up. They bring in Koish. And since my opponent has a speed boost, I bring in Nagaise to get some Deceit aura going. I double into the left side with slow techniques, and they swap out to Lawali. A +2 Electropunch Oko's it. Wow, Zaobian really is built different. But I get a Toxic Farewell, making Zaobian stinky for 4 turns. Beta Burst does okay damage to Acronox, and Mud Shower comes out. That does a ton of damage to Zaobian since I'm electric type, but after a Toxic Tick, we are still barely standing. They bring Koish back in, and I rinse and repeat. Acronox is low on stam, so it switches to Platamus. Koish is blown up by Electropunch, and Platamus is hurt a bit by Beta Burst. Acronox comes back in, and I send in Tolkien, because I don't have to worry about Aquatic Whirlwind under Deceit Aura. I once again double in, this time on the right side. Psysurge does some decent damage to Platamus, Mudshower does the same to Tolkien, and Tolkien's Wind Burst secures the Platamus. And with that, they concede. Good game, well played. Our Zaobian team goes 6-0 in the Gold Tournament. Look at those sweet rewards! Finally, with a Gold Tournament win under my belt, I think now is a good time to review how the team has performed these last couple months. I made my first Zaobian team around 900 TMR. I climbed to 1100, and that was when I uploaded that first Zaobian PvP video. Since then, I replaced 2i with Nature Chromion, I've climbed from 1100 TMR to almost 1400, and won 3 tournaments. In my opinion, this team is really good, and I'm really proud of how far we've come. So if you're looking to make a fun Zaobian team, all the info for this one is in the description. As for me, I'm gonna start working on new comps to give you guys some variety for my next PvP videos. I've got some ideas floating around in the old cranium. I'm not just a Zaobian one trick, right? Anyway, thanks for watching. My name is Blunk, and I make TEMTEM content for YouTube. If you liked this video, thanks! Stay tuned for more, and have a nice day.